everybody, welcome to Tempest Books. I'm Rebecca and today we are doing our March wrap up because it's most of the way through April and I still haven't done the bloody thing. So I've got 6 books here. I did actually read 8, but 2 of them were just mafia romances that I read while I was walking in the gym, and frankly I can't actually remember them, so I'm not going to bother reviewing them. But the other books that I read in March were freaking amazing, so I can't wait to share them. So we'll start at the bottom and work our way up because I had everything that month from a 1-star book all the way up to a couple of 5 stars. So yeah, we'll start at the bottom and work our way up. Now, I've never read any sports romances. I've never picked them up, I suppose. I do have a couple sitting on the shelves, and I heard about the Pucking series by C.R. Jane, and I was told that they were dark romances. So I thought, well, if I'm going to try sports romances, I'll go dark. So I started out with the first book in the series, The Pucking Wrong Number, and then I read The Pucking Wrong Guy, which is book 2. Now there is a 3rd book in the series, and I believe book 4 will be coming out at some point this year, I think. But I won't be continuing the series. I did like the first one. It was reasonably fun. It is a girl texts the wrong number, Hocky God on the other end, obsession, stalking, very much complete focus of this guy and how he goes about getting her is definitely on the darker side. We had all sorts of things going on in this book and I didn't mind it. It wasn't too bad. We also got a couple of kind of cameos for the person who comes into the next book, and I was fairly looking forward to the next book. So this one ended up being about 3.5 stars. It wasn't bad. It was a good book to come into the kind of hockey romance or the sports romance itself. Reasonably dark. I didn't mind it. But unfortunately, when we came to book 2, it ended up being a 1-star for me. You did, like I said, meet the guy who was in the 2nd book in the first one, and he had a personality transplant from book 1 into book 2, and the personality that got transplanted is like Deadpool. I didn't enjoy the 2nd book at all. It was supposed to be again dark, stalker, obsession, and in the end, it just came across as really cringy, terrible humour. Not that dark. It had the obsession, but that was about it. So I won't be continuing the series, but like I said, I didn't mind book 1. I will probably keep book 1 and not book 2. So the last book I read for the month was The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy by Megan Banner. And it was a great little book. I actually had a lot of fun with it. It's a fantasy romance, and I would definitely put comedy in there as well. It is kind of a fantasy world, but you definitely see that there's aspects of our world, so maybe it's like an alternate version of our world. But it was awesome. I read the appendix thing in the first couple of pages and kind of went, you know what, that explains some things for me. Yeah, okay, I agree with that. There's zombies in it, and there's going into other dimensions of a sort, and there's different gods, and we have our main character, female, who is an undertaker, who's very, very reverent of treating the dead right so that they get on to their afterlife. And we've got a dude who does a lot of killing, even though the things he's killing are already dead. And it starts out as, hate at first sight, miscommunication, and eventually, main characters falling in love, things like that. It was a good little comedy romance. I did like it. The world describes a vehicle in the book, and it is called an autoduck. And this autoduck appears to be able to travel on water and on road, and it has no freaking description about it. And that drove me nuts. I really, really want to know what an autoduck looks like. And so I was also very disappointed in the fact that no one at any point said, no time to explain, get in the duck. Because it does shorten the name to duck quite often. People go, I don't want to talk to you, just go and wait in the duck. And so I wanted someone to say that, and they didn't say it. But never mind, hopefully in the next book, because there will be another book, and you do meet the characters for the next book, in this one. But look, yeah, it was a really fun little romance. I had actually had this book on order for several months before it finally became available on my island. So I was really quite glad to be able to read it. And yeah, it was worth it. It was a fun little book. We have our 3 5-star books for this month. I was shocked to read so much awesome in that month. It was just excellent. The first two are 2 out of 3 of a trilogy, and the first one is the first book out of a trilogy. I'd have read the rest of them back to back, but I don't have them. I've managed to get book 3 since I've read the first one, but book 2 still hasn't arrived. So I am sitting here impatiently waiting. So our single little book is called The Reviver by Seth Patrick, and this is an urban fantasy, and I can't pick a favourite out of these books for that month, but this was amazing. This book is about essentially people who have the talent of reviving. Just because you're dead doesn't mean you get to be at peace. Now, these revivers have the ability to reach into the abyss and yank a person's soul back into their dead body. And it may only stay there for a couple of seconds, or it may stay there for a couple of minutes, but the reviver is able to then get the soul to communicate with them, and they can tell them how they died, maybe who killed them, what the soul experienced just before their death can then be communicated to the reviver. Either the person is able to talk, or if their vocal cords have been destroyed or something, then they can just say it directly into the reviver's mind, and the reviver can then tell, the cameras, there are always cameras set up, everyone's watching the reviving. And this is a world who has taken reviving and run with it. People are regularly revived. If they're a murder, you've got it in your insurance. You can choose to have a reviver clause in your insurance so that your family can yank your soul back into your body and say their last goodbye, or find out you definitely died from what they think they did, things like that. But the main thread of the book is kind of like that scene in Supernatural where the demon is saying to Dean, "Are you sure that what you brought back is 100% what you lost?" So in this book, we look at Jonah. He is kind of a prodigy in reviving. He accidentally revives someone at this tiny age, and as such he is one of the most powerful revivers, although he doesn't really know that. And one of the things I loved about this book is the fact that this isn't just an awesome talent that people have. This is an ability that costs you to use. These revivers are in a lot of pain after they use this ability. They suffer. They end up with, migraines and nosebleeds, and they can only do it once every certain amount of time. They need to have basically a debrief period, because they can drive themselves to the brink of madness doing this reviving for everyone else. So this book very much follows a mystery. Things are happening with revived bodies, and things are happening to revivers, and our main character Jonah is the person who's putting things together, but no one believes him. It's an excellent book, and as a part of a trilogy, I cannot wait to read the rest. I need book 2 to get here, damn it. Look, this is an absolute hidden gem of urban fantasy. I will be recommending it to everybody. And look, I really hope someone out there will give this one a chance. The final books we're looking at are the first 2 books of 3 in the Infected trilogy by Scott Siegler. This guy is quickly becoming one of my favorite authors. I adore what he does in his books. There is so much gore in these books. There is so much wry humor. You read something on occasion and then stop and go, wait, no, I need to reread that. Did I actually read what I just read? That was so awesome. Now, these books look at an alien invasion. Slightly different to how I've read alien invasions before, though. So we are thrust into the world of alien spores that are going to take us over and use our body as incubators to grow little workers. Yeah, basically that. So we meet people who are infested with these alien triangles. And as they go forward with the infestation, as they grow, as they get bigger, as they utilize your body's resources to continue their growth path, they develop their own sentience, and the people that have the growths in them just eventually go nuts. Now, these books follow several characters, so you see characters from the upper echelons of American government to people in the CDC to your regular old poor person who is the ones infested with the triangles. We do narrow it down over time to 3 main characters, one of which I will never forget as having been basically the toughest guy I've ever read about. Like seriously, if the alphabet agencies want to be training people to resist like enhanced interrogation or anything, they need to get people like this guy. Like, I couldn't believe what he put himself through to triumph over the triangles. Whether he does or not, you should read to find out. But the stuff he put himself through, like, it was nuts. It was gory and absurd. And I never want to get between this guy and his aim, ever. It's like, I will stand by and go, oh, please, feel free. You go ahead. Do whatever you want. I'll stay over here. As usual with Scott Siegler's books, the science was amazing. He has this really excellent ability to write out very complex science in a clear and definitive way, and then give you an example afterwards that anchors that science in like a real world example, even if it's a metaphorical example. And it's just so easy to click with. It's like, oh yeah, I get that. That's easy. Thank you for explaining it that way. Because if you hadn't, I would have been sitting here going, I'm going to have to Google this shit. So not only was the alien science well done and easy to follow, the human science and the look of what's going on in the body that the alien triangles are taking over was excellent. Not far into the first book, when they were getting into the explaining of what the alien triangles do to the body that they're going to try and take over, was chilling. I actually read through it and thought, I feel like I need to shower. That was a very, very graphic view of what's going on at a tiny level on my skin and in my body, and all of a sudden, I feel like I need to go and like scrub myself with antibacterial and antiviral soap and a wire brush, something, because that was realistic and creepy, and I can definitely imagine it going on. So of the 3 books, the first 2 kind of sit on their own because there is a time gap between the end of the second book and the beginning of the third one. So I haven't read the third one yet. It's kind of sitting on my shelf. I want to give it time to like percolate the events of these ones before I go on to the next one. There are times when you are rooting for the humans to win. There are times when you are looking at the alien going, oh, you poor thing, that must be really hard. It's amazing to come across a set of books that has you really rooting for each individual character for different reasons. And these books draw you in so much that, yeah, the science is creepy. The people are really believable. There was an excellent sort of look into the upper echelons of decision making in American government, whether it's real or not, who knows, but it was really well done in the books. So there we finally have it. There were my 6 books for March. I'm only 3/4 of a month late, but I got it done. I'm going to give up trying to, say, I'll get them done in time, because I totally never do. So, oh well, I get them done, as long as I get them done. I haven't been reading a huge amount in April, so my next wrap up will probably be very short. I haven't done a lot of reading. I have, however, played a lot of Fallout. I watched the Fallout TV show, I binged it in like a day, and all of a sudden, I just like, I'm sorry, I have to go. The wasteland needs me. And off I go. If anyone's read any of these books, do please let me know. I would love to chat about some of them. But until next month, I'll see you next time. Bye.